Hello? Can anyone around here speak basketball?
There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
Trust in Masai. Especially you, Ted Rogers. Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast. I am your host, Freddie Rivas. And who, sir, are you?
I am the producer, Matt Duncan. That's because it's Halloween this week. Hopefully I didn't scare you guys too much. Freddie.
Oh my goodness. You freaked me out, first of all. And we didn't go, we went in all sorts of places. This episode got wild, but what we didn't do is talk about Halloween. So thank you so much, Matty D. We're a basketball podcast. We're a Raptors podcast. We're comedians, we're actors, we're hardcore fans. We have analysts on sometimes, comedians mostly. Today is a double comedian episode, so it's nuts. I'll just say that right off the bat, but I'll get back to talking about the pod in just a sec. Maddie, if people want to find us, help us out, support us, maybe use one of our toques for a Halloween costume that doesn't itch, how might they do that?
Go to dunkspodcast.com. As I always say, that is our website. Our episodes are there. Our past seasons are there. And as well, all our links to all the podcatchers, because that's really what you want, right? You want to get to the podcatchers. So we've got the goods for you. Get subscribed. If you could rate, thank you. Thank you to all the people who have written us some reviews on iTunes and whatnot. We really appreciate it. It's nice to see, even if they're negative, even if we're in the NBA finals, you want to let us know that we're not doing enough episodes. That is totally fine. Just leave your comments as you will. We've got our Patreon that you can check out. We have changed the prices from American to Canadian, and we dropped it a little bit. So it's only, much more affordable. You'll get, same day episodes. You'll get ad-free episodes, and as well as some other stuff and some bonus episodes that we are working on, some different segments and stuff like that. So if you can support, awesome. We really appreciate that. And then you can talk to Freddie about the toques. If you want a toque, it's getting cold. Don't be afraid. Put something and sit in the shade. It's working out a tag for our toques, but they are anti-itch. Sure. That's what's most important. Tag or no tag. This sucker ain't gonna itch. It's contact us. We'll get you a Confederacy Dunks toque, and you'll be all set for winter.
Amazing, Matt. You're the best. Two quick things. New feature for the toques. I always forget to mention they're great in the shade. So put on a toque, go sit in the shade, as Matty D said. And also, please, like, comment, all that good stuff. If you leave a negative review, I promise Matty won't remember. He won't specifically remember. When we make the finals next time, we got you. Okay.
Yeah. We're doing like a live stream, Big Brother style.
Listen, I was getting married. We messed up. Okay. No regrets.
It was
to get married.
Very busy year for both of us. So
it was. We both got married.
Best. Yeah.
It was our, Raptors won, and me and you got married, and it made sense.
Yeah.
Dude, we have such a fun podcast. Dylan Gott's on it. From Yuck Yucks, from Dr. Plop is his newest album. He's a maniac. He's so funny. You'll remember him as the guy who was doing this podcast while at work and suddenly ran away. For all the folks who've been inquiring about how Dylan is, you'll see he's quite all right. He's his hilarious self. And
the wait is over.
It's over, And of course, Alan Shane Lewis, who's done the pod a million times. We love him. CBC Baking Show, and Shoeless Lewis. So much good stuff. We dive into rescuing a good player. This whole Rogers Masai saga, rotation stuff for the Raptors, and and what teams are kind of surprising. It's a fun app. So make sure you check it out and share. And if you're already listening, you are checking it out. So thanks. But I think before we get going here, let me just say, as I always do, Black Lives Matter, defund the police, stop Asian hate, and email your city councilors. We got a big Ontario election coming up, so make sure you are involved and engaged in that. I think with all that said, Maddie, if you feel like we're good to go, please just give me those amazing words that I love to hear so much. Okay. Okay, let's get this episode fired up. I have two very, very funny, amazing guests. I've had them both on a bunch of times. Let's bring on guest number one. You probably know him from CBC Baking Show, but also he's been on this pod forever. He can still dunk, I hope. He cheated me in bump. Shout out Below the Hardwood. Shout out Shoeless Lewis. I mean, this guy's got a lot going on. He's amazing. We're always lucky to have him. Give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Alan Shane Lewis.
Honestly, probably 4 years or 3 years of that music. Still love it. Still fun.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a bop. It's a little bop,
Some of them get annoying immediately. That one's still kicking.
Just a But thank you for having me. This is a lot of fun. And I did cheat you in bump, and guess what? I still got the trophy.
You still got the trophy.
I still got the trophy. It means a lot to me.
Listen, I would have cheated you if I could. That's one part I never say. Dude, I love having you on. You're amazing. I just want to talk Raptors ball so bad. So I just also want to prepare you for this next guest. We were talking before the pod. This is one of the only cliffhangers ever in Confederacy of Dunks history. He's a hilarious comic. Check out his album Dr. Plops. I've known him forever. He's a hilarious dude, but I really have to stop the intro there because if you were listening to the pod the last time he was on, he abruptly left. He was at work. He told me before the podcast that he was going to podcast from work and everything was totally fine. And about 10 or 15 minutes into the podcast, took off, and we were all scared for him. People have asked about him. He's okay. He's back, I think, after about a year and some. He has a kid. Congrats. Give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Dylan Gott.
Oh, yeah. That's what I fucking, yeah. I'll fucking do whatever.
This guy's nuts.
I get jobs just to fucking podcast from them. I'm at another job now.
Except it's like the funniest part to me is how much you told me you're like, hey, listen, I'm at work. It's gonna be great.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the manager was showing up. I am in the toilet at McDonald's, by the way. I faked the shit.
Oh, God. Is that where you work now? Like, dude, I just want you to have a safe job. Like, I want everything to be okay.
So I was working. I was a janitor for the TDSB, and literally this happened because a man texted me and said the head of this entire region is in right now. And before the podcast, I was like, I was like, this guy's fucking with me. There's no way the head of the fucking region's in right now. Fuck this. This is like a heat of the pandemic, and I just had a kid. And then, oh yeah, he was in. So I had to.
He was in.
Had to flee.
Is he a basketball fan?
Well, I had to hide that I was doing anything. So I quickly did, and then forgot I was in a white zombie t-shirt or whatever. And the guy was like, "Where the fuck's your uniform?" And I was like, "Here's a funny story. I sometimes get wasted at work." And then that was good.
Okay, I feel like hot start to the pod.
Hot start to the pod.
Dylan's back. This is amazing.
I'll be at Wendy's next time.
Yeah. Please switch fast food restaurants. Please
Sweet
just,
free Wi-Fi.
yeah. No, but I mentioned to both of you guys before the pod. The only other cliffhanger is Will Weldon, who was actually on that episode with you, called Raptors in 6 in our podcast right before the finals, and didn't do any type of interview. He just like said Raptors in 6 and hung up and like dropped the mic, and it was a big call. Anyways,
That's a big call.
Your cliffhanger's way better because it's insane. And I'm glad you're alive, Maddie.
Honestly, how
Sorry.
would a podcast be if they advertised like all of these guests are doing this from work? Like they all got fired, and we're just gonna talk about like whatever until they're almost fired.
Like,
Well, you've showed us the stakes are high. The stakes are quite high.
The stakes were high, and then that guy showed up to another thing, to the school again, obviously, to make sure I wasn't like messing around, and I was out like I was out just like doing the lawn or whatever, and then he's like we're just hanging out for a second, honestly having a nice time for 10 minutes, and he's like, this vaccine, this COVID's all bullshit, right? And I was like, oh God, no, I don't think so. And he's like, global warming, huh? And I was like, you like it? And he was like, not real either. And I'm like, oh man, nothing's real, huh?
What's this guy's name? We need to put him on the pod.
No.
This is
He'll
like
just tell you
conspiracy
basketball isn't
Superintendent
real.
Chalmers.
Well, this is the thing, is that a surprising amount, you would obviously think caretaker is a job where it's like they're all conspiracy theorists, but they're not. Most of them are just like, I'll do whatever. I just want to watch Netflix at work. And that's the sickest thing. I'm not a janitor anymore, but if anyone out there needs a job, go to the TDSB, man. You do you got to scrub some stuff for sure, but after you flush a couple turds, you're just watching whatever on Netflix.
Sounds like a good time.
It's a ringing endorsement.
You
Let's
gotta
talk
like
some raps. Let's
No.
talk some raps. Maddie, please.
no.
Before Dylan just goes full one man play. Let's
Dude. This is you get a union too. Part time, you get a union.
hey, I'm pro union.
Better job. Maybe being on the Raptors. What are the Raptors? When someone hurts their knee on the Raptors, what do they get? They get a year off.
And like
They got cut, maybe.
$500,000 maybe.
I mean, that's a lot more than.
Okay, Maddie, please.
That's more
hit
than
the Raptors
30,000.
king. I feel like I got to go to Alan first, or I might not come back. Let's dive right into it. Nurse is he's kind of being tough on Boucher and Flynn. We've seen this in the past, but I'm kind of wondering what you guys are. You're starting with you, Alan. Like, what's your rotation thoughts? It doesn't have to be about Flynn or Boucher, just like in general.
Yeah, I'd love to see more Malachi Flynn, honestly, to be honest. But I'm not too worried. It's 1 week into the season. We have injured players. Rotation comes. We find the things that work over time. And, look at the Lakers. Look at the Nets. It's not, a symptom of just our team. It's the entire NBA is trying to figure out, which players to start, which players to end with, and how many minutes does each player get. And, once Utah comes back and then also Pascal comes back, like they're going to need those spots too from, Boucher. So it's like, how do you figure all this out right now? So I'm not too worried, but, let's figure it out on the fly, and hopefully we can get some wins in the old win column sheet.
I too am not that worried. I feel like I'm seeing, more Dragic than I like, but I also feel like that's kind of necessary. If we are going to trade him, I don't know how much we're going to actually like bump up his value or whatever, but I do think, I don't know, I guess if he's benched, that might not be good for trading him, and for thinking long term. But I want to see, I feel like just more continuity, more like, lineups with guys that can shoot, which I know is hard on this team, but I feel like I'm maybe a little bit Flynn over Banton for that reason. And Banton's been amazing, but like, just, I don't know. I do feel like we need a bit more shooting out there, like at all times. I'm assuming a trade's going to happen too. So, but Dylan, where are you at with the rotation in general?
I think that a lot of people, I mean, to be real, you have to talk, like the media obviously has something to talk about. The start of the season but I heard like an alarmist podcast about the Raptors where they were talking about how they're like 24th in offense but 7th on defense, and it's like that's 4 games though.
Yes.
And like they're a team without Pascal, but also for Malachi and Boucher, I mean, we should for sure. Is this not like a growth year? Like, are we actually trying to? Like, I think it's one of those weird years. Maybe like I wouldn't say the Magic with like Daryl Armstrong, that weird team where they got 8th. You remember that team where it was just like, oh, it had Ben Wallace on it, like obviously that led to
that's a throwback team.
Ben Wallace, whatever. Where we're just like, we're trying, got all these guys, we're gonna try it as hard as we can. We're gonna place well, obviously, but like everyone else, no one else is tanking. Why don't we just tank? And if Nurse is just gonna play Malachi, who's clearly a guy of the future. But the other thing about Boucher is like sneaky old. He's like 28, isn't he?
He's I think he's 27 turning 28. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that is the decision to play Achua over him totally makes sense to me, because Achua's young, and if you're going to get anything out of him, you're going to get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of an interesting idea. Think about, Pascal coming back and what exactly the like intention of this season is, because I also feel like, developing Barnes as a shooter, or seeing if Precious can actually shoot is probably going to pay off, like long term. I also feel like Masai kind of has this permanent goal of developing and winning at the same time. I do feel like you're right though, Dylan, in that this season is going to be leaning more so on the side of developing. Like, I think they'll leave some wins on the table just for the sake of trying a guy out.
And we're going to win games just because we have Fred VanVleet and Pascal and all these other guys who are like professionals. Even Boucher's like that. Like just guys in their prime who are professionals. And honestly, I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't want to fucking tank. I don't want to go what we were. Like, I don't want to go back to being like, Bargnani's going to do it, man. Like, if we have good players, that attracts good players. Because I think that free agency is kind of weirdly a thing of the past. Like, if you're a huge star, you'll sign the Supermax and just be like, fucking trade me. And then your team, instead of you going for free and you getting less money, everyone wins, because the other team that traded for you gets you, and then the team that lost you gets like 900 draft picks.
No, it's true. Like, I feel like development is such a huge part of the NBA, and it's only getting bigger. Like, when San Antonio was emphasizing it so hard back in the day, it was kind of like, oh, that's cool. That's a thing that they do. And, I've been saying for years, Utah, Miami, Indiana to a lesser degree, Toronto under Masai. I think all these places are, different. And obviously Miami's like a big ticket place, but they have a different approach that isn't just like, let's, shuffle the board constantly. I think these places have really emphasized development. And it should be interesting watching this roster. I feel like rotations are going to fluctuate. Utah, there you go. Watanabe's coming back, and I mean, I feel like going to need minutes, right? Like, he kind of deserves that. But let's move on here, because I want to get back to being silly, and Maddie, please come in. Starting with some, like, I guess I don't know how to describe it, sort of upsetting news. Basically, it came out that Edward Rogers was like trying to tamper, or I guess not tamper. He's on the board, but he didn't want Masai, to resign. Had complaints about like his bodyguards, which I think was like a photographer, or like the guy who does open gym.
It was two of his friends.
Yes, two of his friends.
Two black guys probably, and like, those are some bodyguards.
Well, wasn't
like,
one a documentarian?
Yeah.
And then so basically this guy was making a documentary about like, oh, here's what I'm going to do this off season. And then he was like, bodyguards. One of them's wearing a beanie and the other one's wearing a crazy shirt that says Supreme. Supreme of what, sir?
It definitely makes me think of, Phil Jackson's posse comments with LeBron. And, there's that like racial tint. And, obviously we know that, some of the Rogers people have been like photographed with like Trump and shit. And anyways, like, if you're a Canadian, you know about Bell, you know about Rogers. But
They're cool.
yeah, the Rogers family, this was kind of like a succession-y thing. It's still unraveling. You know, Mayor Tory is involved. He's a mayor of Toronto. It's crazy, but all that to say, you know, I think that's going to continue to unfold. But I want to know, like, from the three of you, as a Canadian, you know, what do you feel like is appropriate as far as like taking out your revenge on these people who almost took away Masai from us? Like, that's if there's anything that I was worried about as a Raptors fan, in you know, in terms of retaining Masai, it was this. It was like corporate meddling, because I feel like he always wanted to be here, and the idea that he really wanted to go elsewhere, you know, was more so insecurity. And you know, but this to me was the real danger, and the fact that it happened, and you know, we kind of came through it is amazing. So, anyways, a little bit of comic relief. Let's start with you, Dylan. What's your what would be your like response to this as an average Raptor fan? Like, how would you take it out on Rogers?
How would I take it out on Rogers?
Yeah.
I really like that his name is Ted and his kid's name's Ed. And then like, is Ed's kid name just like D or E? Like, that's really good.
It's Ned.
Ned?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Is back in. It's just Tedward. Anyway, we're kind of handicapped. I don't know. I'll take a shit in Rogers' building one time or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Or I'll maybe I'll
That's what I'm
convince the
looking for.
janitor to walk out, you know, caretaker's code.
Is there-
I'll walk in there and it'll be like, they've wronged us, and then just like, no one cleans.
Is there like a hand signal that you can like shoot out to them? They're like, oh, we know it's on.
Yeah, you just go code and then they leave.
The way
Do
code
whatever
is
you
the word
ask.
code.
Yeah. Yeah. Educated code. You would never, it's kind of like, for sure this guy's password isn't password. I'll just bypass that.
1, 2, 3 password.
So Dylan got shit in the lobby. Like, that's and
No,
also,
toilet.
like,
I would never have to make a fellow caretaker clean up shit in a lobby. You
so you
idiot.
just
Jesus
like
Christ,
your
what
crap
kind
in
of
a toilet?
monster, moron, piece of shit do you think I am?
That goes
I would take
against
a
the
shit.
code.
I would take a shit. I would knock on the toilets because I can tell just by a knock, just by a noise, which one's the weak toilet. And I would shit in the weak toilet. And I would tell my brother in arms that that's the weak toilet, and he would put it out of order forever.
ooh, that's pretty good.
Or you
Yeah,
give him the nod and you take a shit on the desk of the owner, because caretakers can get anywhere.
This is really good. Yeah, because like no one
Freddie,
would know
don't
what was
open your
going on.
door. I'm behind your door. I'm in your door.
Okay. Yeah. No, this is what I was looking
I'm
for.
on 3 hours sleep.
This is what I was looking for, dude. Just like a meaningless shit in the lobby. That's how you get back.
Meaningless shit. Put me back as the big one StreamYard. Meaningless shit. Every shit means something.
Okay. Oh god, every shit. I feel like you're
Put that on
checking
my.
your stool and making sure it's okay with that. Like, hey, every shit's important here.
No, it is.
Um,
Matt,
no,
put yourself
no,
as
for
the
your
big
health.
one on StreamYard now. Matt, what do you think about?
Whoa, you're throwing to me now.
Yeah, what is so let's say this. Not this isn't about Rogers. Does every shit mean something?
Oh god.
Yeah, I think there's meaning to every shit, and
Yeah.
Thank you.
you know,
That's fair.
Meaningful shit.
yeah, as long as it's a meaningful shit, a really truly meaningful shit, then yeah, there's a lot of power in it.
Okay, good.
Fair.
Power
Okay.
too.
Let's ask Alan. You know, where are you at with
Well,
you know, letting out your frustration on Rogers? Like, I mean, tough act to follow, not gonna
yeah.
lie.
I just
this-
want to talk about meaningful shits first.
Talk about some shits you've had.
I had a spicy one the other day. It's horrible. I put too much pepper sauce in my food, fell to the next day. But
Hey.
yeah, the best way to get back Rogers, everyone cancel your Rogers and go to, I guess, Bell. That's not that much better to
See,
duopoly.
that's what I mean. It's
Yeah.
hopeless.
Here's what you gotta do. You gotta go back in time, go to a Rogers video, tell everybody in that your jobs are not secure, and then flash out of there. Then start a
Okay.
petition to change the Rogers Center back to the Sky Dome, and then just give him the middle finger to Ted Rogers' grave. There you go. That's a full day.
Yeah, that is a full day of work. I like
It
how
is.
it just starts with you running in a random store. All of these ideas are like, you know, I guess we're admitting like Rogers has a lot of power, because we're basically just like, hey, you know what? Start a petition.
Well, it
cancel your
didn't happen.
subscription.
That's the other thing. It did not happen, which is astounding. That something to happen and it did not happen. That's a victory
It-
in itself.
It's kind of crazy that like decisions like that can literally be like linchpinned onto one person, and it's pretty
Well,
scary.
you know about the Donnie story, right?
Sorry, the Donnie, you cut out there for a sec.
Sorry, Donnie Nelson was the GM of the Mavs for a million years. Obviously, he drafted Dirk and Luka. Like, that's how he starts with Dirk and basically ends his tenure with Luka. And then Mark Cuban just hires this dude who's an analytics
fake-
wizard.
Was that a real
Yeah.
story? Like, what's this guy's name? He was like a poker player that like controlled a lot of all the decisions.
Paralis, Vergal,
Anyway,
I forget his last name, but yeah.
From
Yeah,
Toronto,
he-
wasn't he, or something like that?
he
something
made
weird?
a pick. He actually made a pick for the Mavs. And then when he was like, well, and then Cuban's in the room with this dude and Donnie Nelson. And Donnie Nelson also, there was a power struggle between Don Nelson and Mark Cuban. And Donnie Nelson, who's Don Nelson's kid, sided with Mark Cuban. This is how far back they go. And Donnie Nelson like ran out of the room and was like, fuck this organization. If you're just going to take this charlatan's advice, then why the fuck am I even here, right? Just that story just to say thing. Like if an owner wants something to happen, usually it does happen. So I think it's great that this didn't happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of unprecedented. And Washington had offered him 3% ownership and a huge deal.
Like,
Masai.
the English Premier League was like looking at him too. So
Yeah.
it's like clearly this guy's coveted. So like lock him
man.
down. That doesn't make any sense to not, look to the future of a franchise. He brought like $500 million of like net worth to the actual franchise, brought a championship.
Oh, he
Pay the
quadrupled
man.
it.
Pay the
Yeah,
man.
no,
What's wrong?
$1.5 billion. But that might be just the growth of sports in general, though,
Yeah.
because sports is literally the only thing we watch on television now.
Sure.
Yeah, I know it's insane to me how sought after Masai was, and just kind of like, I mean, sorry, it's not surprising, but it adds to the frustration of this. And anyways, yeah, let's just keep venting. Maddie, what's yours? How are you going to take it out on Rogers? We got a lot of good options so far.
Oh, I want to get fucking deep on this guy. I want to go full fucking Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, I want to infiltrate this fucker's house. I want to fuck with his TV. I want to fuck with his internet. I know how to do all that shit, Edward. Okay? Just enough so that you're going to have to call your own shitty tech support and get someone to try and tell you to unplug your fucking router for 30 seconds. That's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to also make you some nice food because I will be in Mrs. Doubtfire.
You'll all be Mrs. Doubtfire. Maddie, so what you're going to do is change your name to Maddie Doubtfire.
Put an ad in the paper. He'll find it. Sure, that's how he gets all his nannies. And yeah, I will
I do
fucking
like-
work on him. And he will step down from that board when I'm done with him.
He'll fall in love with you.
I like it. I like it a lot.
If I have to.
I like
And
anyone's
break his
revenge
heart.
plan. It was
Break
like, well,
his
my
heart.
revenge? Let me tell you this. It starts with accent lessons. Because this Yorkshire doll is about to take your heart.
Yeah, I also love that this, includes Edward Rogers falling in love with you. So yeah, this has been a good journey here. Taking a shit in the lobby, like organizing, all the way to
Not in a lobby.
falling in
Weakest
love.
toilet available.
Weakest-
I would
sorry.
never do that to a fellow caretaker.
Yeah, sorry. I
On
keep
the
going to
record.
the lobby. I don't know.
On the record, caretakers are like cops, man. You're never not a caretaker. You're just off duty.
I was gonna say poo lives matter, but that's not good.
No, it is not. Take him out. Take him
Good night,
out.
folks.
Dylan's done a lot worse, but you're out. Okay, mine is basically trying to also, infiltrate the board. Not so much as Miss Doubtfire, but like I think trying to get into the board, like work your way up Rogers, and basically like reveal like just like a full on like Ashton Kutcher pranked show. Wait, what was this show again? Ashton Kutcher? Punked. Like just fully do a punked where you're like a punked meets, undercover boss, and just like spill all Rogers like, equity or whatever into the market. So mine's a long play as well. Less creative than Miss Doubtfire, but more kind of like, Mr. Robot type thing.
Yeah.
But it involves you slowly working your way up Rogers, which might not be that successful.
Here's
But,
another plan. Here's another plan. Freaky Friday him.
Oh yeah. You
and
can
then
do that on
transfer
command.
all his money into your account and then tweet on his behalf just like racist stuff. And then then Freaky Friday back and then just peace out.
Oh, I wish you could. I wish like Freaky Friday, you could just be like, okay, I'm gonna Freaky Friday back. Like this honestly got crazy. Like,
Got real intense. First, you got to tie yourself up first. So when he goes into your body, he can't do anything. There you go. Plan ahead.
okay, there we go. Yeah,
So that's why Alan ties himself up every night.
All the night, every Friday, I tie myself up just in case I Freaky Friday with somebody.
JIC, I gotta tie myself up here, baby.
12:01 Saturday, I go, all right, guess it didn't happen.
I know Lohan's coming for this body. I got this baking show now. She's trying to fucking Freaky Friday me. I know that.
Any night, Lohan's coming out for my body.
Alan, I'm glad you're staying safe. You know, tying yourself up.
Got it.
Wow, that was 3 really creative answers and one that fucking sucked.
Yeah, you know what? My answer usually does suck. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like I'm really creative with these questions, and then when it comes to me, I'm like, honestly, I've run out of ideas, and everyone else's ideas were better.
If everyone's watching this on video, Matt said he wanted to become Mrs. Doubtfire in a dark room too. That was what happened. He's just surrounded by darkness. Like, well, I'll tell you this: I'd become Mrs. Doubtfire. Pierce Brosnan wouldn't get any near Ed Rogers at all.
Yeah, Matt's definitely usually coming from that or the snowplow angle.
It's the snowplow angle.
Well, that's just this guy loves his snow removal system, so I was thinking that might be included there, but I left Flubber out. I usually bring Flubber into the mix, but no, just slowly 9 to 5, working it.
just a 30-year plan.
Yeah, just a 30-year plan. That's really you're gonna lose in the end. All right, let's talk some NBA. Maddie, fully in the dark now. If you're ready, if you're present, please give me a moment for our sponsors. And we're back. Sick, Maddie. Why don't you give me that delicious Adam Silver sounding foghorn, whatever weird audio thing you got? NBA Sting.
This is Adam Silver.
Oh yeah. I think I messed that up. I do the at the first one. I thought I got the hang of that, but I didn't. Dylan, let's go to you first on this one. What's the most surprising team so far, good or bad?
I think that the Bulls are the most surprising because they're playing good defense. I think that's the thing that has surprised most people. Everyone kind of thought they would have to win. To win, it would just basically be like, yeah, they score 150 points in regulation, and then it's just Lonzo Ball on defense weeping, saying, I can't do it all. I can't do it all. But Zach LaVine has stepped up. Vucevic still shit. We just watched the game, the Bulls against the Raptors, and you were talking, it's funny because you were talking about can Precious shoot threes, and he turned down like 2 wide open threes in the last 5 minutes. One of them ended in a dunk, which is great, but like wide fucking open threes. But anyway, yeah, I think the Bulls, not that I didn't think the Bulls wouldn't be hyper competent just because they have DeRozan, who is exactly what they need, just like an amazing regular season player where it's like when the playoffs happen, whatever, but like but like legit, like these guys need to be in the playoffs because they haven't been in the playoffs since, Derrick Rose was the Chicago Bull.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought the Bulls were going to be improved. I consider myself in the doubtful camp, still waiting a little bit, but they've looked good. They've looked solid. They have 4-0, man. 4-0.
They also not to take away from what the Bulls have done, but they did play, some
not
teams.
Strong opponents.
Yeah. And I think once the tests come, we'll see. But you know what? It says a lot. It says a lot that when you win the games you're supposed to win, that says a bunch. Totally. Because a lot of teams are struggling out there right now to find their identity, and they already kind of have that. All works out from defense.
Well said. I think a lot of teams are struggling to find their identity, and the Bulls look like at least from the get-go they have good chemistry and different types of scorers, and DeRozan just killed us with a million tough shots, and like Dylan said, like we'll see whatever come the playoffs, but the Bulls haven't been in the playoffs for a really long time. or I mean, at least a couple years. And I think they haven't been in the playoffs and like, looked like a meaningfully good team, which, we'll definitely wait on that one, but they look good. Yeah. Who's your team, Alan? Good or bad?
I have two. I give it up to the other Ball brother. I think LaMelo and the Charlotte Hornets are looking, a lot of fun to watch. Shout out to Ish Smith, who comes on that second unit, and he has just like so much energy and just moving the ball. I'm still not sold on Gordon Hayward. That guy needs to get out of here. Also, Miles Bridges playing excellent. And also a team that's like they're like the win columns aren't really showing up, but it's good basketball. Is the Sacramento Kings, which I don't know if anyone's really been watching them, but they put up some good numbers against some really good teams. Gave Steph Curry, run for the money for a little bit. Harrison Barnes has been put on a tear for these past couple of games. I think he's up like 30, 40, somewhere in that range there. And Davion Mitchell looks like that dude. He is super intense on defense. He guarded his brother, stripped him a couple times. They're starting to look like something. And it's been a very long time for that franchise. They've had a drought of just success in so long, but it looks like it's working. Looks like everything's kind of clicking for them. So I'm excited to see what happens for them later on the season.
Alan League Pass Lewis.
Hey, buddy.
Who's been watching the Sacramento Kings? Harrison Barnes is doing well. Harrison Barnes right now through the 3 games, 28 points a game, boards.
How many boards?
So far, Harrison Barnes is Amari Stoudemire in his prime.
Right? Idaho's best. Or is he from Idaho or Iowa? One of those places. One of the places where he's the only black guy. Iowa or Idaho. One of the two.
Where he's from, except for he's only really had fun playing basketball and everyone's liked him in Golden State. That's the one time. And then he got traded and it was back to sad. Ames, Iowa, but he did play at North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching every single Sacramento game, making sure, I see how Holmes is rotating on defense.
He should have been in the Raptors jersey.
I know that's the one, of all the kind of like, we need a center, hubbub. And I feel like we're still lacking in certain ways. So, I do like Precious, but, just sticking with NBA, Holmes looks awesome. And, he definitely, I think, is going to, help Sacramento win some games. My teams, I don't know if this is like slanderous or whatever, but I am a little bit surprised that the Warriors are off to a 4-0 start. We're recording this on the 27th, so I'm not sure if they're playing tonight. The Raptors are playing tonight. A bunch of teams are playing, but yeah, I think the Warriors look a bit better than I thought they would, and the fact that they're looking like this, and Clay's not back yet, is kind of like, oh, wait a second, maybe this is like a we're back type year. I guess in my head, I feel like they just weren't going to recover from, when they lost the championship to the Raptors. And like, I felt like the nucleus is kind of like aging out. And again, it's early days. We'll see. The other team that's surprising to me is, I'll throw in a second, is Phoenix. I feel like Phoenix is off to a 1-2 start, and that's okay. But I kind of I felt like that was the type of team that was going to have like a huge potentially regular season and just kind of like almost come out streaking. I had this thought that Phoenix was going to be like pissed and like, whatever, be undefeated through 6 or 7 games or something. But
it's all Sarver's fault.
Yeah, Sarver, well, I mean,
you didn't solidify that contract. There's like, weird shit going on in the locker room. They're not playing to their potential. Got to lock down that dude's contract. Makes no sense why he's not getting paid.
I totally agree. Yeah, we talked about Ayton last week, and just like, it is a weird precedent setter in your organization to have someone who's like clearly should be a massive part of the future, drafted first overall, and be like, you know what, we're going to be cautious here. And then, I don't think it's all like fully out there yet, but it seems like a big like Sarver, expose or something's coming out. He already has like put out like kind of like deniers, like he's been floating stuff like, hey, just so you know, something's going to come out. I swear I'm actually a good guy, which is like, oh shit, this is going to be a big deal. But let's keep going here. Alan, I'll stick with you. And just what's a good player in a bad situation in need of rescuing? It can be like from a rotation, a chemistry thing. Maybe it's like, a trade.
Yeah. It's easy to say OKC and Shai Gilgeous and get him out of there, but Josh Giddey's looking a lot of fun, so there might be something later on down the road for them. But I think Portland's really underperforming, and when we look at Dame and what he's been doing, which is like not a lot, I think him trying to adjust to that kind of system with Chauncey Billups and him not being so ball dominant with a lot of like high screens is like kind of messing with them, and he might figure it out, he might not, but the end of the day, he's not shooting the ball well. He's like 2 for 24 or something like that right now. So, get him out of there. If they got to do some type of Philly Portland trade where they both trade their, those pieces that aren't just working with them, I think that would actually be advantageous for both teams. So, it's free Dame.
Free Dame. I feel like, that in the summer, that was one of the stories that kind of like came and went, and all the Kyrie stuff is so big, all the Simmons stuff is so big, and it was kind of like no, new people are coming in here, Chauncey's here, like let's just like make this work here in Portland. And I feel like with them being off to a slow start, and I'm not sure how old Lillard is, but like I would say like perhaps like 31, not necessarily out of his prime, but there's not that many years of like potential top 10 playing left. And I'm not trying to be like, someone who doubts Lillard, but I think, the Simmons thing also isn't going away. So I feel like that is both of those two, kind of combining like a switch. It would be a massive blockbuster. And I feel like potentially necessary for both teams. Those are great picks. I just want to say per Dylan tradition, he popped out of the podcast. He's not at work. I think his, or maybe he is actually in a McDonald's bathroom. But we got word that
I think Edward heard him talking shit about him so much that he fucked with his internet.
Shut down his internet.
Honestly, yeah. Like we're talking about what we can do. Edward can do some shit,
Yeah.
But if Dylan joins us again, amazing. Hopefully he does. But it's spotty Wi-Fi. We can all relate. And Dylan obviously is, if you haven't. Oh, he's back. Okay.
So
What's
I
up,
would
buddy?
like to rescind my comments about saying anything negative or joking around about any caretakers previously.
Wait. So you're not apologizing to Edward Rogers?
No. So I would like to say that I would not abuse my power as part of the caretakers to do fecal matter.
Oh man, the caretakers got
Ed
to you,
Rogers. I got a call
Code.
and they explained some stuff to me, and you know what? I see the world a bit differently. Here's how I would get back at Rogers. I would calmly agree with them that it was a good decision to get rid of Masai, and I think that Pat Quinn would make a lovely Raptors GM if he's still alive.
See,
Or
I think
Pat
he's
Quinn
dead.
Jr. or whatever.
When Dylan, your face is white. Are you okay? Like, what happened to
I
you?
feel like there's a gun out of frame just pointed at your head.
There's nothing right here. There's no one standing looking at me right here. I
my
just have
God.
to keep my eyes forward.
Just a
Also,
bunch of words to
also my
say.
Wi-Fi is Bell, so maybe do whatever you want, Rogers. I don't know.
Well, Dylan, it's just in time. You're actually you're up. Who's your bad player? In need of rescuing. Just a good player in a bad situation.
Good player in need of a bad situation.
We got
You know
a
what,
Portland Philly trade already.
Okay, well, fuck. I wish I had missed out on that. I wish I hadn't missed out on that. But I was really pumped when the Philly. Obviously, you want to say Ben Simmons, but I was really pumped when they talked about De'Aaron Fox going to the 76ers. I think that would have been like, fuck. Do you remember? And this is I'm very old, of course. But like when everyone on American mainstream media was like, "Yo, Doug Christie's actually amazing. Isn't Doug Christie great?" We're like, "Yeah, he's been great on the Raptors. Isn't he like the only player to ever hold Michael Jordan under 20 points per game average, like defensively?" Anyway,
Something like that.
Yeah, I say that to just say like I think De'Aaron Fox would have been like an international. He would have been a national sensation if he plays with Joel Embiid. Because I think that he does all of the things that would be a great partner to Joel Embiid, and they would have got him. But the thing was, did you hear about that trade where it was like, this is all hearsay, obviously. apparently they were like De'Aaron Fox and an unprotected for Ben Simmons, and then Morey was like 2 more unprotected, and then click on the phone. But yeah, I think I've been a big De'Aaron Fox fan for years though, and the Kings have bad ownership as well. I mean, the Raptors try and have bad ownership, but
the Kings got like 3 point guards, 3 starting point guards on their team. Picked up smoothly where
De'Aaron
he was
Fox
going.
is-
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he
He's
is.
back.
You're frozen. Oh
Is it-
no.
Oh no,
No, he's there. He's fucking
Oh, that was good.
Sick.
Okay,
I
well,
was
Sick psych
like-
egg.
check
His
this
eyes
out
are
on
moving.
YouTube. That was sick.
So part of being a caretaker is that you gotta like be a blue man for a while too. So you have
We're
to
learning
work on being
a peek
completely
behind the
sick.
curtain, if you will. A peek.
Wow.
Anyway, long rambling answer. I think De'Aaron Fox is good, and in a better situation, he'd be butter.
Yeah, no, I agree to that 100%.
Amazing. Fox is a really, really good pick for this because I feel like he's been in Sacramento for a while now. Sacramento, to Alan's earlier point, I feel like is exciting from the, standpoint of they have a lot of good, at least fairly recent draft picks. I think, that are really strong players, and, maybe they'll be able to do something and finally make the playoffs. But my player, and I feel like he's the type of guy that, there's no island for. People generally they don't seem to be in love with his game, but I would love to see Karl Anthony Towns not in Minnesota. It seems like he's, not going to request a trade, still has a long time on his contract, is, trying to be, work some chemistry into the culture of the T-Wolves. But I kind of just think that there's so many, franchise problems there, and their current core, although, Edwards looks pretty good. I'm not sure about Russell. And I just feel like if he were thrown into a situation where some of the pressure was taken off and he could just be like 1A, 1B with somebody, I feel like he could really, really just make
He needs to be like Pau Gasol, where it's like, he's been
exactly.
out alpha and but the thing about Cat is he pretty much made that D'Angelo Russell trade, and if they would have just stayed put and not gotten fucking D'Angelo Russell, then he'd have Anthony Edwards and a ton of draft picks to play with to get someone else. Dude, they'd have Ben Simmons right now if he hadn't have asked for that D'Angelo Russell trade. It'd be Anthony Bennett,
it's his
Cat,
buddy, but
Ben Simmons. And it is his buddy. And this is the thing about players or GMs now. And LeBron James, maybe top player of all time, obviously arguable, but undoubtedly you could say one of the worst GMs of all time, because he's every time he's what's Mike Miller doing? They're like, Mike Miller's legally blind now. And they're like, no, he's not. He can D, 3 and D.
Put him in the corner. He'll hit a 3.
Put him in the corner.
He'll smell the rim.
I will say, I feel like LeBron, has also orchestrated a lot of success, but his teams generally, we all know he doesn't really like young players. And I feel like this Lakers version is the true test of how old can a team be? And still, it's weird because I feel like usually the teams that make the finals aren't young. They have a lot of veterans, but yeah, that's definitely a thing
but
with
you're
LeBron.
looking at
and his GM.
31-year-olds, not 36-year-olds. A couple 36-year-olds will make your team great. Every team needs just a Marc Gasol, who's
a PJ Tucker.
Yeah, you need that old guy who's this is the last. I'm redlining. This is the last energy I'll have in my adult life.
Yeah.
Or a
Now I
James
just go to
Jones.
bed.
Or
James
Jones.
Also, I was going to say this about the Warriors before the caretakers punished me, was it's all just having Wiseman out. Since they've had Wiseman out, when Wiseman got injured last year, they were on a 60-win pace.
Played a lot better.
They're on a 60-win pace because they don't have to incorporate this dude into their offense. And now he's injured, and they're playing great. When Wiseman comes back, they're going to be shit again. Will not shit, but they'll be worse, and it'll be interesting to see if Steve Kerr isn't just let's fucking ship this guy and Wiggins out for Ben. See if we can just get Ben Simmons or something.
No, good.
600,000 draft
that's a good point.
picks. Wiseman and you know what I mean? Because who gives a shit? You're kind of done anyway after Steph's gone. Just let Jordan Poole score 50 a game in 2029.
Wait, so are you saying the Warriors should like just kind of go all in and like punt that like type of development stuff?
100%. Yeah, this is probably undoubtedly one of Steph's last year's.
Yeah,
I don't think that people dip off. I don't think like people dip off. Like we're all in
33.
our 30s. Yeah, we're all used to seeing people like in the 90s where it was like Pacino is really good. Oh no, he ate too many pistachios. He's done now. Like his body can't handle that. But people are like managing their body like LeBron James now. Like they spend millions to spend like half their a lot of money on their bodies.
I'm interested to see how Steph Curry kind of transitions to that phase where it's like he doesn't have that first like burst of speed type step.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of a perimeter shooter on a team. Just the best marksman you could possibly have. Just
the best shooter of all time hanging out.
Just like I can still do this,
But like that's
old.
Ray Allen. Like Ray Allen on the Heat. I mean, like you look at those numbers and they're whatever, but it's like he's the fucking fourth option. Imagine Steph Curry's the fourth option on a team in 2 years, where everyone's like, no, I don't know. He scored 15 points a game last year. He's probably shit. And then it's like, now he's wide open and he never misses.
Yeah. If Steph is able to do that, like, I think Ray Allen also was really, I feel like, good at defense still, like late in his career. And, Steph isn't an amazing defender, but like, yeah. I would say if you said that, if you told me, Steph is a bad defender, I would be like, correct. But, I don't feel like he's horrible or anything like that. Like he's been a part of really, efficient, good defensive lineups, but also played with like incredible defenders. Clay is like, I feel like, all defense level guy. All right, let's do some quickish questions. Matty, good sir, would you please give me that frenetic audio file you got there? Give me that quickish questions sting.
Quickish questions.
Yeah, Matt looks like he's in a constellation scenario.
It's like he's on Twitch. Like this is like a Twitch stream. You're playing some game. It's super nerdy, and I'm having a good time.
No one comment. My wife can hear the notifications. That's what he's saying. I can't get rid of the ding. I can't figure this fucking thing out. You wake up my goddamn kid.
I thought that was
chat,
the voice of the...
Keep it down, chat.
Dylan, I thought that was the voice of the caretakers you were doing.
No, I would never make fun of them.
Good. Keep that respect level going for your brethren, All right, this is Quickish Questions. I'm going to, try and get through these questions as quick as possible. We'll see what happens. I might stumble, slur, get lost, just misread something. Your guys' job is to answer as fast as humanly possible. No stalling. You can't phone a friend. Sometimes Matt will repeat the question back. That's not allowed, Well, I guess it's allowed, but like, keep it snappy, okay?
Yeah, I'll keep it snappy.
Here we go. Let's go Dylan, Alan, and Maddie. Dylan. If we had to play basketball against other planets, what would Earth's team be called?
Ass shit.
You said quick. That's how you play the game, folks. It's Quickish Questions. That's great. Alan. If everyone on the podcast enters the skills competition, who's winning?
Me.
I think fair answer. Might sound conceited, folks. Alan's right. Okay.
Wow, Alan thinks he would beat me. Fuck you.
Listen, just because you beat me in a
I did.
What are that machine game?
I beat him in that game where you can play really drunk, and he was fucking shook. I shook this man to his core.
In a different province too. Didn't like it. The whole ride back. Thinking
Sounds
about ways
like
to get him back.
6 hours of this man stewing.
Wow. Oh, that's
stew.
good.
A good stew.
Yeah.
You want a 6-hour stew.
Meet someone before a long trip? That's fun. Okay, Maddie.
Yeah.
We all know about the significance of Delano Banton's 45 jersey, Kipling. What's your significant number selection and why?
My significant number selection?
Look at this guy repeating the question right away.
No, not quick enough.
My significant number is 81, and I like to wear that to remind people that Phil Kessel used to play for the Leafs, and it was a sometimes you have the numbers to remind you of the tough times, not the good times like the Kipling bus. And I don't know if there is an 81 bus, but maybe Phil would take it.
What is this, slowish question?
Yes,
What is that?
this is slowish monologues.
Jeez.
No, but yeah, that's him playing the sting for himself. That's good.
81. The 81 is the Thorncliffe, so that's what he would be taking.
Nice.
Oh.
See,
That checks out.
Alan knows his buses. I also love how you said the 45 Kipling is like a good times bus.
It definitely is.
It's
It
a
was.
bus.
Oh yeah, Humber, buddy.
The Humber bus.
Humber, baby. Yeah. Dylan, Gore and Dragic, intentionally playing terribly or old?
Dog shit. Piss boner. Sorry. Old. Yeah, old.
Are we at the
old.
skate park?
I think he wants to get traded. I think he doesn't have the option. He's ugly too.
Wow. Okay, this is good. This is
You
the
say
new
quick.
bangs. Yeah. No, these are good. This is how you play it. Alan, what neighborhood should Scotty Barnes be house shopping in?
He should house shop in the beaches, get himself a nice beachfront property, and he can go run on the beach with his hands up, just get everyone just excited.
I love it. Like even in the winter too, where people are like, "Wow, this is a windy part of town." He can
Yeah,
just,
that's
like, no worries.
dedication. Yeah.
Yeah. Maddie,
Yeah.
if you were brought to the table to negotiate Masai's last contract, what would you personally offer to have him sign?
Wow, great question. We've actually answered this before, and I will stick with it and say we'll give him sneaky D's. He can run it. He can be the manager. He can get the profits. He can be there for the late night nachos. I think sneaky D's, and let's not forget Scotty Barnes went to sneaky D's when he first came to the city. So
Really?
yeah, he did. There is a tie to the Raptors, and I think that's what I would give him. He'd be very happy. He wouldn't even need the percentages and all that shit.
Fair. Dylan, did you know there are
Fair.
Raps? Yeah, did you know there are Raps tickets still available in Detroit? Tons of them.
Yes.
Okay, I love it. Alan,
Yes.
would you rather go to that Detroit Raptors game or buy a new leaked Raptors jersey?
Let's give me that leak Raptors jersey. Daddy likes exclusives.
I like
Oh,
it. Maddie,
yeah.
worst front office meddler, Edward Rogers or Richard Petty?
Ooh. I guess I'm gonna have to go with Eddie. But Petty, that's a whole other beast.
Wow.
Makes
That was
sense.
a good answer.
So that was a good answer, guys. We rocked it. We made it to the end of the pod. This was a good one. We got silly. Dylan was in and out. I hope he's okay and not in trouble.
I got
honestly,
shit to do,
like
man. I got fucking do stuff. I'm not like you guys. I don't have all this fucking bullshit time. Talk with the Raptors.
wow. Just going hard. At the end.
I gotta fucking. I still do caretaking as a hobby.
They don't pay me.
There's a
Dude, I love the
microwave
game.
that's dirty out there. You don't think I've been thinking about that the whole time?
I did not mean to insult your craft, sir.
Why did you text me that you wanted to insult his craft? That's so weird.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I've been watching the movie The Craft a lot, and it inspired me to insult Dylan.
I like the idea
Blackbeard.
of watching a movie a lot. Like to me, that would be watching a movie a lot would be 2 times within 4 years. I'd be like, I watched that a
Oh,
lot.
shit.
It's twice a day,
Wow, this got silly. This is a good time. Dylan, what's up, man? I'm gonna throw to you, like, what's going on? What should people check out? Your album, of course.
Oh yeah, check out. I have 3 albums out. Thank you, I farted. More farting and Dr. Plops. They're all $1,000 each. Bandcamp. DylanGott.bandcamp.com. Legit, they're $1,000 each. Just buy one. That'll be good. Also, they're online because whatever. No one pays for anything. I'm at Dylan Gott on every social media: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and I'd also like to promote QPED. QPED. That is the
QAnon?
Caretakers Union of
I thought
Toronto
it was
District School Board. QPED.
QAnon.
You can work 20 hours a week and they'll pay $2,000 knee brace. $2,000 knee brace. They got me.
Wow.
This episode was
Yeah,
paid
man.
for by Toronto.
Get a job. I'll tell you this. Give up. I mean, don't give up your dreams, but if your dreams are stupid, just get a fucking job as a caretaker. You got stupid dreams. There's probably people here who are like, no, I invest like a crypto.
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
need
So you heard it from the horse's mouth. If you investigate crypto, change it up.
Yeah, if you're investing in crypto, fuck. I got a wall here. Fuck you. All right. Why don't you Dogecoin yourself over to a toilet and get a real job?
That is okay, guys. Check out his albums. I was just listening earlier today. Your fart story where you almost got beat up. Like honestly, Dylan doesn't mess around.
Here's the thing. I couldn't name it another thing about farting because I actually had a long fart story on the last one. So we'll be back to naming it after farting for the fourth one.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, I also have one called "We Farted" with John Hastings.
Okay, good.
So that's 4.
Yeah,
there's
there's
5.
There's a lot of fart content for sure.
There's
But
a lot of stuff about farting, and then I started cleaning up shits, and I really gained an appreciation for it.
Dylan, I love this. I was gonna say I love with you. I love you. You're hilarious. Thanks for
At
doing
the
pod.
Alan Shane. Alan, you got Twitch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the idea of like Dylan just like cleaning a toilet, overhearing somebody talk about crypto, busting that like door open and be like, you should fucking quit that job, you fucking loser.
There's a lot of caretakers who made a lot of money on crypto, and then you know what they did? They lost a lot of money on crypto. I'll tell you that.
Fuck that crypto.
Oh,
Honestly,
yeah.
I don't fucks with crypto. I try to. It's too scary. It's
There
scary.
was 2 weeks where everyone was like, "Why aren't you on this Coinbase, Dylan? You fucking idiot! Quit your comedy thing and just full time into crypto." And I'm like, "I don't know about that, guys." And then they were silent for a long time.
It's gambling. I don't do gambling. Yeah, you
Ooh.
can follow me at the Alan Shane on Twitter and then Alan Shane on Instagram. I'm not smart enough like Dylan got to get the same thing. Shoeless Lewis on TikTok, Shoeless Lewis on Twitch. Also watch the Greg Haney Bacon Show every Sunday 8 p.m. And then also next Monday, watch Roast Battles. I'm on that episode. So 10:30, set your PVRs, watch me, all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
And
we
then
had,
Below the Hardwood.
yes, Below the Hardwood. We had Ennis Hesmer on last week with Roast Battles. He was was the host for season 1 and 2. Check that show out. Check Alan out. Check Dylan out. This podcast was nuts and amazing and fun. And thanks for everyone for listening. And I've been saying we've really been growing, so super appreciated. Keep spreading the word. Maddie, if you feel like we're good to go, please give me those delicious words. Okay.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network. Sonar!